choose Nescott to do higher education?
I just really enjoyed being in the college environment. I was really impressed with the course content.
I feel that Nescott provided me with all the facilities that I needed to progress in my career that I want to go into. Also, all the staff are very helpful and always willing to help you and do anything you want to do.
On the farm, there's a lot of animals that you'd never come across in everyday life. It helps you conquer fears.
How good the teaching was, which is why I came to Nescott.
It's just genuinely lovely to be surrounded by people who are passionate about what they do, and I'm really fortunate that I'm on a journey to making my hobby my career.
Hello and welcome to Nescott. We're delighted that you're thinking of joining our college, and thank you very much for signing up to this virtual open event. Our teachers will do the best to ensure that you get the information that you need, as well as a good feel for what it's like to be a student here. Now, a virtual evening won't show you everything we love about Nescott: our accessible location, our green campus, our purpose-designed and well-equipped classrooms and workshops. So we very much hope that you'll be able to see Nescott firsthand soon, whether that's at an event in early 2021 or when you join us as a student. Please enjoy this virtual event and good luck with your next step in education. Thanks again for your interest in Nescott, and my colleagues and I look forward to seeing you very much in person in the near future.
Hello everybody, hopefully you can all hear me okay. If that is the case, if you could just let me know if you can hear okay in the comments, that'd be great, and then we'll get started with the presentation on sports therapy. Thank you all for joining us this morning. If you hopefully have all used Zoom before, if not, you'll see that there is a section where you can ask comments. So there is a comment section. Some people have found. Perfect. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thanks, Duncan, and thank you, Anne-Marie. Okay. So just to introduce myself, my name is David Francis, and I'm the program leader of sports therapy. I've been at the college now for 4.5 years, and I've been program leader for the last 2 years, and I've taught on the sports therapy degree course before that. So my role really as program leader is just to make sure that everyone completes the course to the best of their ability. So I I do some of the teaching on the course, but also I'll always be with you pretty much at every step through your 2 years qualification, and kind of aim to get you the best possible qualification, aim to ensure you have the best possible experience completing our sports therapy course. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about, say, the team, about the course, and there'll be an opportunity to ask questions at the end. If you have any questions as we go through, please just pop those into the chat section, and I'll come to those at the end once we've finished the presentation and answer any questions that you may have. There is no silly question, so ask whatever question you have. Even if you think it's obvious, just ask that and we'll make sure we answer all those for you at the end. A little bit about the course itself then. So sports therapy course is set up to lead you to sports therapy. And within that, we have a range of different units and a range of different modules and teaching, which should set you up to be the best possible sports therapist. One really good thing about Nescott, as opposed to big university establishments, well, not so much at the moment, but normally you'd have 100, 200 people in a lecture theatre. You have one lecturer at the front delivering the information. You sit and take notes for an hour and a half, and then maybe you have a seminar later in the week. At Nescott, everything that we do is in small cohort groups. So you may have a group of maximum about 20 people in your cohort, sometimes smaller groups than that. And that means you have one-to-one access with your tutor, with your teacher, with myself at all times whilst you're on a course at Nescott. And the benefits of that is that you can ask questions, you can get answers, we can go into areas that people have an interest in. So we may end up talking about one aspect of sports therapy in one lesson, and that might lead us into talking about that a little bit more in the next. And that just helps us to shape the course a little bit more to you as individuals. Units do you take? So anatomy and kinesiology, anatomy, physiology and nutrition, sports massage and corrective exercise are all in the first year. I'll explain a little bit more about the years in a moment, but they are the units you cover in the first year. Our courses across the first, second and third year are all 2-day courses. So that means you may be in on a Monday and Tuesday, a Tuesday and Wednesday, a Thursday, Friday, and so on. And then you have the rest of the week off, which means that you can then work, you can study this course almost like a part-time course with just 2 full days, but you'll still get the same degree, the same BSc with honours degree as you would in any university. It's accredited by Kingston, so therefore it's nationally recognised, but you have smaller groups, more access, and shorter time in the college. So first year units, and then second and third year, we cover things like clinical practice, which pushes into advanced clinical practice in the third year. Pathology, so that's injuries and how injuries occur. And then we lead into emergency trauma, so how to treat injuries and how to be a first responder in a sports situation. We do rehabilitation, and that leads into strength and conditioning in the third year. And then we have a research methods, which leads into a research project in the third year. So this is the breakdown of kind of everything you'll learn. It's not exhaustive, so there's certain things within those courses where we branch out into other areas. But everything ties together quite nicely to ensure that you are in the best possible position to have the most up-to-date knowledge and to be the best practitioner possible to work in the sports therapy industry. We have 2 course options, and we have a foundation and then what's called a top-up degree. These run simultaneously next to each other. So when you enroll at Nescott, you actually enroll onto a foundation, a level 5 foundation degree, which is a 2-year qualification. What that means is it just gives people an exit point. If at level 5, they're starting to feel that they are finding their limits, maybe in education, or if they would just like the content from the level 4 and 5 to go on and progress their career as maybe a personal trainer with a specialism in sports therapy, then that gives that option. For people that would like the full degree, after you've completed the foundation degree, you then have the option to top up your degree to a full BSc honours degree. So passing the level 5 then allows you to then just enroll into what's a standalone year, but ultimately it's just your third year, and that gives you the full top up to the BSc with honours in sports therapy, which is accredited by Kingston and allows you to go in whichever direction you'd like, which I'll talk more about directions in a moment, but maybe onto a master's degree or to work in elite teams or whatever it is that you're looking to get out of your sports therapy degree. Just a little bit more about career paths, and these are career paths based on where you could go or where our previous students have gone. So we have previous students working in elite level sports. As an example, we have a student who works with the Great Britain basketball team. We have students that have gone on to be sports therapists, maybe in a team environment or on their own. So they've set up as entrepreneurs and created their own sports therapy clinic. Sports injury clinics, some people use the qualification to specialise for personal training. So maybe they want to improve their personal training offering to include more of a sports therapy focus. Others go on to even further education. So for example, master's level. This year or the year just gone, we've had a student go on to do strength conditioning masters, and another student has applied to do medicine based off of the sports therapy degree. Another option is to go into teaching. On the left is Dean, and Dean was a sports therapy student just 3 years ago. He graduated 3 years ago here at the college, and I was one of his teachers. And after he graduated, he, in his placement role, ended up taking over as the lead therapist. So he became the lead therapist at Chobham Rugby Club and took over the sports therapy department there. After a couple of years of that experience under his belt, last year we approached him, and based on his performance when he was here, the things he's done in his role so far, we approached him and asked him to come back and teach with us on our sports therapy degree course. So Dean has just completed his first year of this last year. He teaches on things like advanced clinical practice and emergency trauma, and he brings fresh academics. So has a student who's only recently completed the course, but also very fresh vocational industry experience where he's still in place as a lead therapist, and therefore he's bringing up-to-date knowledge to you guys. He can show you exactly what he's working on, or he can bring in case studies of injuries that he's come across in the last few weeks, which brings a really up-to-date feel to the qualification. Here's a few more of the people on the team. So Matt is the head of department. You may not have him in your classroom in front of you teaching, but ultimately he has control of the whole sports department, so our BTEC offerings, apprenticeships, and the higher education team. Then we have Selena. She's a sports therapist. She has an undergraduate and a master's degree in sports therapy, and has worked in various locations as a sports therapist. Anthony is a strength conditioning coach. He has UKSCA accreditation in strength conditioning. He has an interest in psychology, so he delivers our psychology units, and he takes the research units as well. So he's very interested in research. He's a great academic, and he brings a lot of that experience into that role. And then Liz is an osteopath. Again, she actually did complete her osteopathy degree at Nescott quite a few years back now. She runs her own clinic in Epsom. She has a lot of specialisms around concussion, the spine and joints, and she leads on some of our units, for example, such as anatomy and kinesiology, on pathology, on clinical assessment and rehabilitation. And then myself, so I lead on the strength conditioning unit. So my background is in strength conditioning. So I lead in strength conditioning units, things like corrective exercise, rehabilitation, and I'm also the project supervisor for dissertation projects when you get to the third year. A little bit then about the experience that you'll get. So with our sports therapy course, everybody has placement or opportunities to complete placement as part of your 3 years. And that starts from really the first year, but we start real placement in the second and third year. We have, if you've never been on the campus here, we have a specialised room for sports therapy, which doubles up as a classroom and a sports therapy clinic. And that means that we can then put on clinic sessions. So we have staff, we have our sports students, people that are on the football team come in to see us on a weekly basis on a Wednesday. And you as students hold a clinic where you'll be able to get experience with treating, with modalities, with assessing, and start to apply the things you've learned in the classroom to your client. Additionally, we give you placement opportunities. So we send people on placement to various places. We have people in semi-professional football teams, in semi-professional rugby clubs, in high-level athletics. Last year, we sent one of our students to a university to work in their strength conditioning team. So we have a lot of really good links because of the team that we have and everyone having industry experience to different clubs where we can place you in and give you that experience. Excuse me. In the second year, you complete 100 hours of placement, and that's really just learning your modalities, assessing and giving treatments. And in the third year, that goes up to 300 hours. That sounds like quite a lot, but what that means is you're just applying everything you've learned in your foundation degree. It goes towards your accreditation. So we do a portfolio as we go through those 3 units where you're reflecting on your experience, talking about what you've learned and applying your learnings. Those 300 hours are made up of strength conditioning, clinical practice and emergency trauma. So you'll be doing 3 different roles. You'll be on the pitch side, excuse me. You'll be on pitch side, you'll be doing clinical assessments, and you'll be delivering strength conditioning or rehabilitation programs to injuries or injured athletes as part of their return to play program. So we really give you a kind of multifaceted approach to ensuring you have all the skills possible that as soon as you leave, as soon as you walk out the doors at Nescott in 3 years' time, you'll have every tool that you'll need to be really successful in the sports therapy industry. Here's a little information of the way that you're assessed. So assessments are quite varied. So by the end of the 3 years or 2 years, depending on which pathway you choose, you would have completed various assessments of your knowledge. They'll come in the form of essays. So they may be your standard typical essay, maybe lab reports or your dissertation project. There will be presentations. There will be case studies where we give you an example of a client and ask you to come up with a training plan or an assessment plan for those. There'll be practical assessments where you'll be able to demonstrate your practical ability in things like massage, in things like corrective exercise, and in your functional anatomy. We have practical portfolios, so as I discussed, doing those placements and writing reflective logs and just showing us what you've learned and how you've applied that. And then there is a couple of examples of written exams as well. Written exams are quite limited. There's one in the first year and there's one in the third year. So it's not, if you're worried about exams, you won't be doing exams all the time every year. There's just 2 exams within the course itself. There are other opportunities and things that we have going on as part of your degree course. So there'll be guest speakers. At the minute, those may be virtual, but we try to get guest speakers into the campus itself to deliver some of their specialised knowledge to you. We offer additional courses. So in the first year, you'll do an iTech Massage Level 3 qualification. We do cupping courses. So for example, we have Rock Pods coming in next week to deliver a cupping course to our students. We do taping. So you'll have a practical application of how to tape, and you'll understand taping and have a qualification in taping also. We do various visits throughout the year, and these do change a little. But for example, last year we went to the hydrotherapy labs, and we done some return to play and rehabilitation in the hydrotherapy lab, so underwater movements. We do, for example, body worlds. We go to various trips where we think that you'll be able to see your theoretical knowledge in practice and be able to piece the information together that we've been delivering throughout the course. So anything we feel that will be helpful, anything that we feel that is in need maybe in the sports therapy industry at the minute, or a upcoming trend, we'll try to add those to your course as we go to make sure it's very dynamic. There's opportunities to help out, for example, the London Marathon, where you can practice sports therapy at the London Marathon, and there's other events similar to that throughout the year. And then there's also social activities. So as we are a Kingston accredited course, you have access to Kingston campus, which includes things like their library, but also their sports teams. So if you're into sports and you want to play sports, then you do have access to all the Kingston teams. One of our third years is a captain on the netball team over at Kingston, while she studies here full time. The cohort itself will be made up of 2 different types of students. We'll either have students which are internal progressors. So we have BTEC courses in sports and exercise science. So we'll either have students which are progressing from one of our courses and staying on at NESCOT, or we'll have students who are applying through UCAS directly or directly through the NESCOT website. So those people may be A-level students, other BTEC students, or mature students. And we have a real range of students every single year. We have students ranging from 18 years old all the way up to 60 years old. We've had a full profile of different students, and that will be the same every year. There won't just be a certain age group or a specific age range within the classroom itself. There'll be mature students, graduated learners, and a whole host of different learners in that classroom. Just to then start finishing up, a little bit about NESCOT itself. So these are the NESCOT community values, both as a college and a university establishment. These are the values that NESCOT holds themselves to. So behaving responsibly. So we have a requirement for all students to consider their behaviour within the campus itself. So as soon as you're on campus here, and obviously outside as well, there's a requirement for certain behaviour. Respect to the environment. Striving for success. So we challenge all of our students to achieve higher than maybe even they expected of themselves when they first walked into the course. Respect for yourself and other people, and displaying staff or ID badges at all times around the campus. So that brings me kind of to the end of the brief discussion on sports therapy.